Everyone probably likes to share their story, but I don't know. I guess I'm partial because it's mine. But I think I have a cool story. So I was a lost little puppy. After school, like high school, I didn't want to go to college or do it. All I wanted to do was, well, I mean, the hair matches now, the Rockstar days.
Yeah.
I was going to be in a band. We were going to go on tour. I was going to be a rock star. It was going to be awesome.
So you were going to be in this band tour.
Yeah. And then I ended up meeting my wife relatively young. We got married like pretty quick. That's like another kind of cool story. And after I met my wife, we kind of had like a honeymoon baby.
Okay.
And so like before our 1 year anniversary, I'm married and I have a kid like the month before our 1 year anniversary. My wife and I, we just talked about it a lot, and we ultimately decided, she was the breadwinner. I was still doing like the band thing and just kind of like doing odd jobs, just like paying my bills and stuff. But we ultimately decided that she was going to be a stay-at-home mom. I did eventually kind of give in. I tried to go back to school. I did a couple semesters of college, and I hated every second of it. I was salaried at that $33,000 a year. My boss was kind of getting upset because during our winter time, it was kind of it was a warehouse job, but like retail behind the scenes, like shipping and receiving and all that kind of stuff. And he was mad that like, hey, like we need you here. We need more hours. I told him, I was like, well, my wife had to get a part-time job at night. I have to leave because I got to go watch my two kids so that she can go to work. He told me, you're not worth what we're paying you now.
Oh.
He told me that to my face.
Wow.
And I was like, no, hell no. I was like, okay, like I know that this is going to be like the thing. The game plan is that I was still going to work at my job and I was going to do real estate part-time. So we fast forward a few months. So I ended up passing and getting my real estate license in December of 2013. My wife kind of gave me a bit of a, I don't know if the right word is ultimatum, but basically it's like, hey, I'll give you like 60 days with this real estate thing to see if you can make it work. And if you do, like, cool. But like, if not, like, you've got to find another job. Right. So if you want to fast forward to my first deal, if you want to know if I got something under contract in 60 days, well, here we are almost 12 years later.
How many do you think you did in like the first year?
I did 19 my first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
You know, some of the stuff that either real estate people or gurus or whatever say is like kind of falling in love with the process. I love the connection, and what real estate has done for me over these last almost 12 years is allowing me to reconnect with people. Like I've reconnected with a friend of mine even just recently who is a friend from junior high that just got their license and is going to come over, and I haven't seen them in 24 years.
That's crazy.
Like it literally, seeing them after almost 24 years, like literally almost made me cry.
Yeah.
And so like the whole process, and like I said, just calling people and reaching out, and those people that were willing to have conversations with me, like better times or just fun times or experiences that I had with those people. I love to connect with people, but it makes it so much more fun when people also want to connect with you kind of in the same way.
How do you balance everything? I'm sure the kids are, what, 12?
Yeah, so I've my youngest is 9, my middle is 12, and then my oldest is 15.
And then how do you like balance all of that? And then
I don't.
your business, you don't.
We don't.
No balance.
And the way that things have just kind of shifted over the years, this might even almost like sound bad to like some agents, but what I've realized, you know, I used to just like embrace the grind and even talk about just like real estate, you know, like I know a lot of people go out and they create like goals, and more specifically like in real estate, realtors and stuff. I don't want to crap on anybody that does, but I've over the last couple of years thinking about my kids and some of the stuff that now that they're older and they're getting into a lot of activities, like I have a daughter that's a dancer. I have a son that thinks he's just like a superstar in every sport and he wants to play. I've come to learn, and what I've had to kind of embrace is, but I think what I've had to learn over like the last, 10 plus years is that real estate doesn't actually give me freedom of time, but it does give me flexibility of time.
How does one become a top 500 agent? Because, like you mentioned, there are thousands in Utah. Thousands. What do you think has brought you here?
You know, a lot of agents I think are going to give the same answer. Like that's such a loaded question, and I think there's so much more depth and there's so many layers I think to that question. I would say like kind of the overarching like theme though that a lot of people are probably going to say is just like valuing your relationships. And just like I said, like I don't take for granted or take it lightly when I meet somebody and they tell me, or you know, I know that they're going to use me as their agent. Because like I said, there are there's tens of thousands of agents like in our state that they can choose from, but like the chances are that they come down and then they meet me are slim to none. And I think that, you know, the perspective that I put it in is even tomorrow, right? Like, you know, you could still have a client that calls you tomorrow and is like, hey Tristan, sorry, but I think you suck, I'm gonna go work with someone else. I just kind of feel like I always have that perspective.